And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. So, it's another video, another article coming from the Basketball Network. And this article is about Michael Jordan admitting that trading Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright was the right move. Because initially Michael Jordan was very much against it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Says, I loved having Charles on the team, but Bill made the difference. When Michael Jordan admitted trading Charles Oakley was the right move for the Bulls. Says, MJ admitted that he was wrong about Bill Cartwright. Michael Jordan was one of the best decision makers in NBA history, whether it was on or off the court. But if there was one thing he was wrong about, Jordan said it was about former Bulls center Bill Cartwright. In 1998, the Bulls traded Jordan's best friend, Charles Oakley, to acquire Cartwright. Mike was devastated and angry because he wanted to play with Oakley, but in the long run, he realized it was the right move for the Chicago Bulls, who were building a championship contending team. Quote, I was wrong with the Oakley-Bill Cartwright trade, said MJ. I love Charles Oakley. He was like a brother to me, and I felt we were giving away too many years by trading a young rebounder for an old guy who hadn't played a full season. But in terms of what we were trying to get, he was the best. It was the best trade at the time. Says Oak was MJ's enforcer. Oakley was the Cleveland Cavaliers' 9th pick overall in the 1985 NBA draft out of Virginia Union. As a senior, he led NCAA Division II in rebounds and earned Player of the Year honors. Oak never played a game for the Cavs as his draft rights were traded to the Bulls. Right from the moment he arrived in Chicago, MJ developed a fondness for Oakley. He took the then rookie on an all-expense-paid trip to the 1986 All-Star Game with him. Later, Jordan said he wanted to be Oak's big brother. Meanwhile, the 6'9" Oakley became the Bulls' enforcer and MJ's de facto bodyguard on the court and little brother outside it. But while Mike was pissed at first when Charles got traded, he realized that it was the deal that had to happen for them to become a better team. Quote, but in terms of what we were trying to get, he was the best. It was the best trade at the time. I love having Oakley on the team, but Bill made the difference, Jordan added. So yeah, I wanted to read this article because of something we talk about on this channel often. And that is building something. You know, I would say when you talk about Michael Jordan, he understood the importance of building something and that takes time. But more importantly, when we're talking about the modern players, especially the Duck, what you are talking about is players who don't understand the importance of building. And so, you know, the line where Michael Jordan says, he says, Charles Oakley, he was like a brother to me, and I felt we were giving away too many years by trading a young rebounder for an old guy who hadn't played a full season. To me, this just speaks to the fact, again, that as long as you played hard and put in effort, Michael Jordan was willing to work with you because he understood that it's going to be a process. He understood that the chemistry comes from day after day in practice, day after day in playing games, week after week, month after month, year after year. And this is how you build something. So again, for people who try to pretend as if, oh, well, Michael Jordan, the front office, they just did so well for Michael Jordan. They got him Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and blah, blah, blah. Again, what was most important is they got people who were willing to be on board with what Michael Jordan was trying to accomplish, and at the very least, who were willing to endure the fact that Michael Jordan was going to push them to their limits. Like I said, to me, you could trade Scottie Pippen for anybody who had that kind of talent. But more importantly, like I said, Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan does not become who he became, because it was Michael Jordan who pushed him to those heights. So, again, Michael Jordan's willingness and him wanting to keep Charles Oakley, to me, just shows Michael Jordan's mentality that is, as long as he has people who are willing to fight, then, Michael Jordan felt like he could work with that. And it just kind of speaks to Michael Jordan's loyalty, not only to teammates, but loyalty to coaches. We all know The Last Dance, Michael Jordan was basically like, hey, if Phil is not coming back, I'm not coming back either. I don't want to play for another coach. Again, we've spent all of these years building this thing, and I'm not ready to restart the building process over with somebody else, because it is a building process. We know when Michael Jordan came back and played for the Wizards, he went and got Doug Collins, who was his coach before. So it's like Michael Jordan had a loyalty to players and coaches, and it wasn't about just picking the best player at the time. Obviously, it was about picking teammates who were willing to be pushed, who were willing to give their very best. And again, to me, this is what's missing from the modern NBA, is that attitude and that understanding that, yeah, it may take you years to build, but at the same time, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes from an individual standpoint. Again, one of the complaints with Kevin Durant is that, he's not a leader. We've talked about it on this channel. I've seen mainstream media point this out, that Kevin Durant is not a leader. And again, to me, this is a mark against Kevin Durant, someone who has so much skill, but because he just wants to clock in, do his job, and clock out, well, it's like, no, how could you ever think that you should be in the conversation among the greats if you are not also a great leader? Because all of the greats, to me, especially if you're talking about the top 10, that they are also great leaders as well. They were people who were willing to push their teammates if need be. And so, it's just about understanding that there is a process to this, and that, if you want the respect, more importantly, I feel like respect is the key word, because you can cheat your way to the championships. You can cheat your way to the accolades. But if you want the respect, you have to be willing to go through the grind. You have to be willing to build something. And this is what the modern NBA players don't understand, is that and don't have, is that willingness to build. And I think this article was also appropriate just because of everything going on in the NBA, with players trying to push back against mainstream media, and say mainstream media is talking down. Again, from my perspective, mainstream media does nothing but cap for the modern NBA and modern players. But for these modern players who feel so criticized, you're not gonna get the respect with the way you went about things. You know, the people who get the respect are the people who grinded it out. The people who understood that it's gonna take some time to build. The people who understood that first and foremost, you have to fill in all the holes in your game and improve yourself in every way possible, and including your leadership skills. So, you know, this is why I don't care for Kevin Durant, because, you know, he, again, like every other superstar, he wants his cake and eat it too. He thinks that he should be talked about in a conversation with the greats, while, you know, he seems very uninterested in becoming a better leader. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Michael Jordan saying that, you know, even though he wanted to keep Charles Oakley, he had to admit that they made the right trade for Bill? And I would agree too, because, you know, if you looked into any of the stories, and if you remember, even if you remember The Last Dance and the story about Scottie Pippen not going back into the game because Phil Jackson wanted Tony Kukoc to take the last shot. It was Bill Cartwright who kind of corralled the locker room after that. You know, it was Bill Cartwright who, you know, said, "Hey, Scotty, you let us down." You know, it was like everybody was severely disappointed. And Bill Cartwright was definitely one of the leaders when he was there in Chicago. He was definitely one of the leaders and one of that veteran presence who also, you know, helped keep the players in check, especially who was also kind of a balance to Michael Jordan's ferocity in practice. You know, Bill Cartwright would tell the players, "Hey, look, don't worry about how he's saying it. Focus on what he's saying. You know, he might be delivering it in a harsh way, but we got a chance to be champions. So stop focusing on how he's saying it and worry about what he's saying." So Bill Cartwright was that veteran presence who understood the bigger picture and understood that, you know, it's bigger than how Michael Jordan is delivering the message, which again, if you relate it to the modern NBA, this is why all this sensitive stuff is going on, because they don't like how the message is being delivered. And, you know, they don't want the criticism, but instead of just embracing it and realizing there's a problem and they could do something to fix it, you know, they just don't want to hear it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.